Get to know all your favorite VRChat DJs all in one place. This is VRC DJ Live.
What a time to have our friends here on the program. And of course, we love to be live and we love to be here on time. Well, I can't say on time. We were a little late. I think it's partially my fault. We were kind of going back and forth with me and my guests about whose reason for us to be a little late. I will say, though, I just got back from work and I got some Taco Bell, so I thought it was super important. But welcome on in to VRC DJ Live. I'm Rob Roman, your host. And of course, if you're brand new to the program, we talk all things DJ here, including in VRChat and even outside of VRChat, which with our guests we're going to be talking a lot about today. But even more so throughout the program, if you want to relive all of the classic episodes and highlights up on YouTube, you'll be able to get to see everything from dancers to VJs to club owners to promoters to security to even the community, all the different things that we have going on amongst our community. And this is also a time for you to ask your questions. You know, we've got our guests here for a short amount of time, and this is the time to kind of come in and get to know them and get to know what they've got cooking down the timeline. So before we get to all of our guests, we got three mighty guests here today, taking the average VR club experience and bringing it IRL, taking over the floor in Amersfoort, Netherlands. And fun fact, celebrating their 5th year putting on the show. Please welcome to the VRC DJ Live studio, Arcana, Tigress, Kex, and Tatsu of 4Seasons. Guys, hello. Finally having you guys here on the program. I know it just seems like this entire time we've been hearing a lot about what you guys have been kind of cooking. And obviously, I feel like all of you are pretty damn excited to have this thing going on literally in a few months.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah, that's exciting. Hell yeah, that's the kind of thing. Hell yeah, we're kind of just waiting.
Yeah, we're excited to
waiting for some sort of an. It's like Arcana's just like melting away. Like, yeah, we're having a program and it's pretty a good time. But
he's just so hyped that he's just blanking out.
Honestly, though,
it happens all the time.
It does happen sometimes, especially when it comes to promoting it and putting it together. I feel like there are a lot of loose ends that happens from time to time, but even more so trying to get it right. And on top of it too, like, I mean, listen, let's think about it. 5 years putting on a show. I mean, it's hard enough to think that that's been happening alone. The fact that it's been 5 years. Talk to us a little bit about the process of even putting together an IRL experience.
well, the first time we started, it was more. It wasn't towards a big crowd. It was like, oh, we are a friend group. We know some DJs. Let's hang out. And it was like still COVID times, but there was some wiggle room. They were like, oh yeah, let's come over. We have some DJs perform. We're just all having a great time.
And of course, it's just, I feel like it is just a matter of, the community and bringing the community together. And even more so, like a lot of our conversations today are going to be kind of understanding of the bridging of the gap between, let's just say putting on a show here or getting a DJ lineup in here, where I feel like we all have the technology to come in and just hang out, experience, all the great things between lighting and in the visuals, of course. But even more so, like building an actual event. And I know that the scene is really large in Europe, near like in Germany and of course in Amsterdam. There seems to be so many different types of events just because it's a centralized hub.
Yeah, very, very true. There's a lot going on over here, but not so much in the like IRL VR space. Even though now that I think about it, we do have at least Fishbowl going on this year also in Europe. And I think who was it? Eurocorp, they're doing something, but that's more private kind of way. They do want to expand on that next year, I heard. And I think which club was it? Was it after something dark? I think you played for them.
Oh, the Dark Side is having a
Dark Side.
meetup,
They also wanted to do something IRL.
Have you guys have a moment to like kind of talk about things like aloof with a lot of these different clubs? Because I mean, I got to experience what it's like for everyone kind of surrounding the Netherlands and Europe to be able to congregate in Amsterdam. It's very centralized, and the fact that it's probably really easy to get to. But also too, I feel like a lot of people in VRChat that you guys can be like, okay, I wouldn't want to plan an event that's happening on the same time of somebody else's event, but at the same time being able to kind of communicate that with each other.
Oh, communication is has been hard, really. For us, we chose a spot in August this year just because of the venue that we have. And the communication could have been a bit better because some people expected that 4Seasons, for example, would have been again in September, like last year, and then put their stuff that they wanted to do in August, or at least end of August, now can't come, which is kind of sad because from their side, they were really excited to come, which sadly we cannot really do anything about. And we try to look on the schedule of things. We were trying to at least watch out for bigger furry conventions, for example. We had a problem last year that people, I think it was, what was it, Eurofurence? People were
Yes.
coming from Eurofurence or were going to or something and just didn't have the money anymore to go anywhere else. And this year we just tried to stay clear of that somehow. Was it even on the same weekend maybe? I don't quite
That was the
know.
week before or after, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So we definitely tried to stay out of that schedule overall. And we also try to stay clear of what Fishbowl is doing because we obviously don't want to, you know, have the event in the same week. That would be kind of ass, not gonna lie. At least in my opinion, that would be kind of ass.
Is it kind of just because you want to have it in like a night, like a warmer time, but not too warm, like a summertime, but not too cold as a fall? Because obviously I don't live out in Amsterdam to understand what all of the different types of weather there is, but I would only assume that that's one of the reasons why a lot of the different groups are kind of putting together their shows around that same time, right?
Well, I would think so. I mean, you don't want to have it in the deepest winter, I think.
I mean, it's
Um,
mostly because it's holiday time and people can plan their holidays around the event.
True.
And afterwards, most of the people will have used their holidays already. So between the Christmas time and the summertime, it will be a hard task to get people to join the event.
Yeah.
I would say.
Our original aim was to do a month later, well, somewhere in the month September, but just between planning, between all the other events, conventions, festivals in between, and the availability of the venue, we just ended on this day.
Kind of feels like a hot take a little bit too. And I know for me, I've been hearing a lot about, a lot of people that haven't known or watched the program for a while. We do talk a lot about the Winter Music Conference that happens in Miami. And I was just flabbergasted based on all the record labels and all the attention that it received this year down in Miami and how massive that event is. But the other part of that is everybody comes to Amsterdam for ADE. And that's a big festival that kind of goes on. Well, it's not even much of a festival. It's more just like networking business types, but it's always a very big key component. Not only to have that in October, but be able to showcase the business side of it and have DJs perform and network and all that sort of stuff. And I feel like we were even talking with 10XX because 10XX this year ended up going to ADE last year, and that's where he was able to find his managers and talk about his ever going, you know, the way that he's blossoming into this wonderful musical being. But at the same time too, like we think a little bit about it too because it's around October time, even compared to like a winter showcase or something like that. Do you think it would be bold enough to be able to do something like that? I mean, as Kex was saying, how like having it in the winter time would probably hinder people going out, but who says that you don't want to be going into like a club or a bar with the body heat and then just, drinking, and then you're stepping outside and you don't have to wear too many clothes because of the body heat.
Well, that is definitely not the issue. I mean, having an event at colder times is probably better if you think about it, because, like you said, body heat and whatever, the place will be warm. But I think around the winter times, people have planned a lot around their family and friends. And since 4Seasons is still, I would say, a relatively small event, even though it grew a lot over the years, you have to be a dedicated person that really wants to meet up specifically with their VRChat friends. And right now, we can't really tell if people are willing to go to 4Seasons rather to plan things around their family or IRL friends. Yeah, I guess that's a good reason.
Yeah. And of course, obviously, and I think a lot about that too, just because of like, listen, I'm not going to sit here and continuously be like my job, but like I think a lot of our jobs are kind of on the line when it comes to the holidays too. We want to go and celebrate, but the family and staying in and all these little different things that could pile up over the fact that you want to actually go be able to see a show. Of course, this is a live show here on VRCDJ Live, and you guys get to ask all the questions that you choose to when it comes to either building an IRL event or maybe even going to an IRL event. I feel like we don't even talk a lot about that because we've had a lot of people go to like stuff like TwitchCon, and then they get a little hesitant to be like, oh, I don't know if I want to see all my IRL friends, but like, you'll be able to see your IRL friends. But this is the time to ask all the different questions. Of course, we're going to be chewing at the bit with 4Seasons to see all sorts of stuff that is going to be happening very, very soon. But I want to get back to Arcana here to be like, what ended up sparking this? What ended up sparking the whole idea of putting together 4Seasons, let alone 5 years ago?
Well, like I said, back in the time, it was just past COVID time, still somewhere in between there. It was 2021, and well, things starts to open up, and we're like, well, we want to do something, and mostly the idea came from a friend of mine named Kia, who's the original founder of 4Seasons, and she was like, well, I work in this bar, and it's a pretty nice venue. I mean, I invite all you guys and come over, and I'll book these DJs we know that are close friends. We had Max Sarev, Anks.
Yeah.
Well, let's just have a good time. Yeah.
Never heard of them.
If only they would come back to DJing, that's for sure. But even more so, like, did you even think that it was going to get to the level as it is now? Like, especially for the fact that we're going to talk a little bit more about how even last year you guys were able to sell out the entire all the tickets, and I feel like that's somewhere that you guys are trying to continue to get a much larger venue and try to sell even more tickets for even this year.
Well, like I said, the first.
Whoa.
Okay. The first year, I was like, it was just gathering friends. We were not spreading and marketing this outside. We were just aiming towards our friend group, like inviting our friends. We did put some flyers out in the local area because we booked 2 VR DJs, but we also booked 2 local DJs, and we're just gonna make a party. And then that's kind of repeated for 2 more years. And after the 3rd year, it grew a little bit. The friend group grows, your community grows, but we were not focusing on growth or a big performance. We're just hanging out. We have all these DJ friends, and we just want to have a good time. But previous year, we decided, well, we've been in this venue for 3 years. We want to do something else. We see there's a demand for this thing we're doing. People hearing about 4Seasons, like, oh yeah, they're talking about it. So, yeah, we never advertised this towards the public. We just kept it for ourselves. And then, so last year is the first time we actually were like, okay, we put the poster out. We share this with as many people as we can, and things happened for the better. We sold out pretty quick.
I really don't want to jump the gun on this because I know from a lot of the things that I've had to endure in the past couple of years when putting on parties, especially during TwitchCon time, was there was always a couple of people that have always opened up by saying, how large do you really want to make this? You know, like you were saying, at first it was just a matter of getting some friends together, getting some good vibes with some DJing and stuff like that. And now with Fluor, I feel like I have to say it a specific way, otherwise I'm gonna screw it up. You know, I gotta kind of put a little edge on it. But being a much larger venue, and I feel like a lot of people don't put that into consideration over the fact that you guys have a ton of videos from last year. So being able to be like, okay, this is the show that I'm going into from last year compared to the show that's going on this year. Where do you see 4Seasons? Do you see it growing into a much larger space outside of the large space that you guys currently have, or do you want to kind of still try to keep it underground?
I wouldn't want it to grow too big, because we are for the community. We like the VR community in Europe, and it's might seem pretty big, but we fill instances with 80 people, and there's like maybe a few every night. I mean, it's not a massive crowd. And like I said, I just want to tailor this for the VRChat community.
And for that, make it the best as it can get. That is our main goal. Not the size of it, but how that we can make the best experience for the people we love and have a great time together. That is our main goal. If it grows bigger and bigger, that's great. But that also takes a lot of time, like a lot of time that we have to put into it. And we would need to grow our team as well for that. So maybe we, as Cake Mix said in chat, maybe in 5 years we will be Tomorrowland 2. Probably not, but it would be funny.
I mean, it's good to have those types of open conversations, especially even from last year. We've, from according to Captain Duck, we had about 13 IRL VRChat events from around the world. And while that's not like cause of concern or raising the alarm or anything, you do have to kind of sit there and go, huh, you know, like we've spent all this time DJing in here, and now people are starting to push the envelope on where we can continuously go and grow from even just starting it as a hobby and kind of getting into more business aspect of it and learning, even compared to like previous experience, which I'm sure Arcana is going to talk a little bit about in a few, it was especially with their experience with building events and stuff like that. But it's kind of partial. The other partial reason of having the 4Seasons crew here on the show is just kind of getting a better understanding of where we are kind of heading in the next few years. Because again, I'm not saying that I'm definitely not saying that we're going to be here for another 5 years, but at the same time too, I'm like, you know, it's every day seems like a whole 3 months have gone by. So getting an understanding of this, even for all the new kids that are coming in and they're starting to DJ and get into our community, we kind of need to focus in on, you know, what the importances are, even developing 4Seasons overall and kind of getting a similar hand on it. But before we get to all of this, all right, I feel like at the beginning of time of VRCDJLIVE, I mean, we've talked with Tatsu during the negative episodes, of course, and he was actually the first of the negative episodes, and it was funny how we kind of brought that together, because I guess technically Tatsu was the first. I feel like you two need to fight, because Kex was the first.
He was episode 1.
Yeah.
I'm episode -3. So technically I'm the first, and he's the official first. I mean, why did we do that back then? isn't it basically coming to this one again? Wasn't it just for Dead Man's Party 3?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I also wanted this program to kind of like blossom and like become
Yeah,
a
of
thing. I didn't
course,
want to
but-
just start it and be like fresh out the box. So we had to have some sort of a little bit of a
Yeah,
curb
yeah, of
appeal to it
course.
too. But even more so, I mean, even get to know you guys as well from the previous episodes. We'll get to talk a little bit more about it and kind of rehash about it. But I feel like a lot of people need to get to know Arcana a little bit, especially because like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you DJ. Is that something that you ever wanted to do?
I did dabble in DJing a little, but I don't know. I just like making shows in general, and it's like all aspects around it. I like to do lights. I like to do visuals. I just like press buttons. So all these areas, I just get distracted. And
So I mean that's all super
Like-
that's super cool to learn about, especially because like I feel like everybody that comes into VR chat has come in here for a reason or an understanding, or they saw a video or something like that. So obviously not even bringing up the fact of you helping out with events and coordination and stuff like that. What how did you even get into VR chat? Where did you learn a little bit about it? When did you get into VR chat? Tell us about the origin story of Arcana Tigress.
well, we all saw the Knuckles meme in 2018. And that's the first time I saw VR channel. I was like, that's funny. Okay, yeah. Oh, I don't have a VR headset, so whatever. And then time passes, COVID, bam. Well, now we're all stuck at home. What do we do now? All right. Oh, it's just messing around. Hey, you actually don't need VR to play VR chat. Hey, let's go. That's basically, I got into it. Like I believe a friend mentioned it. And I was like, oh, let's start trying it. And he hang around public spots, start yapping. Oh, this is pretty cool. Well, I think it took a week, and I ordered my index, and I was like, oh yeah, let's go.
So how long was there a difference between you starting VR chat and then getting the index? Was it kind of just like simultaneous? Did you just kind of wait a little while? Did you do a little bit of research with that?
No, I almost insta bought it after like a week of VR chat, hanging around, talking to people. I was like, oh yeah, but this was COVID times, and the index was not available. So like, all right, it was like a month waiting time or something like that.
Oh boy.
Well, at least you got your hands on it too, and you got to expect. Did you get the full body at the same time too? I feel like if you're gonna go all in, you're gonna go all in.
No, I think the full body came like a little later. Well, the thing was, because the waiting time was so long during COVID, because I don't know, a lot of people discovered VRChat during this time, and index sales peaked at that moment. I didn't want to wait around, so I bought myself an old used Vive.
Perfect, awesome. So when did you said you kind of came in around 2018, 2019 when all the memes were kind of happening? What was your first taste of? Go ahead.
That was my first time witnessing VRChat.
Oh.
And then I didn't touch it till 2020.
Oh, so were you watching content on like Twitch, on YouTube? What type of content? I mean, you saw the Uganda Knuckles, but I couldn't see you sitting there for 2 years watching Uganda Knuckles.
No. I was like, it's funny. You see the memes combine compilations and that kind of stuff. Like, it didn't interest it that me much. And then later, you see some VTubers that are in like they are in VR chat. Like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
So even coming in around 2020 time, like tell us a bit about some of the things that you got to experience within the club rave scene, because I feel like in 2020 some clubs were starting to become a little more prominent, a little bit more in the limelight, and maybe they were doing a lot more different types of events. Tell us about that time for you, and even getting to explore, just kind of getting started in all of this.
All right. So, well, we were just hanging out in a public hubs mostly. And at some point, all right. I came in across this old club world called Folds. I think a lot of people know this world. Well, I didn't know anything about the club scene at all, but I came across this world. Music was playing. People were playing with all these they had pretty advanced lighting for the time. I was playing around, having a great time, and I think I spent a good amount of weekends there, just putting in any set, and we just party there. And then later on, I met this group in the drinking group. I'm like, oh yeah, there's also club stuff's happening, actual clubs, and started dabbling in that.
So, what were some of the clubs that you got to experience for the first time then?
Oh, well, I think one of the first ones that I've seen is the DDVR. And there's another one, and I just can't come up with the name from it.
I feel like in between all three of you here sitting here, like, I don't want to sit here and have a nostalgia remembrance time, but like, do you guys genuinely remember the first time y'all met?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I know when I met this bitch. I mean, he just said his first club was DDVR. I met him also in DDVR, but on a different occasion. We were both complaining to DDVR why they would cut the 2-hour DJ slots. And we
Yeah,
were both just
I
being
remember.
very specific about how we really like the 2-hour slots. And well, that's how I met Kex. And then I think the first time we interacted together was actually around Fishbowl IRL.
Yes.
I
Fishbowl
think
IRL, yes.
Arcana and
Yes, yes.
I were talking first time Fishbowl IRL. Costa del
I
Fishbowl.
took you to our venue back then, and then we got to talk.
Right. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like actual conversation was first really at Fishbowl. And I straight up slept in their Airbnb. Like, I mean, they have to love me now.
It's funny how like a little bit of complaining in VRChat, and then you have lifelong friends, and that's just once you find
that
your
how
tribe
all
of
friendships
complaining.
work?
Yeah, once you find your tribe of complaining, like that's all you're doing is just constantly complaining, and then you're just like, I love you, and then you start smooching and having all these wonderful things. But
I mean, the meme has to come from somewhere, right?
oh, you talk about smooching.
Are you looking at me? Are you looking at me?
You
What
know
the
what
fuck?
I'm talking about, guys. You know what I'm talking about.
Anyway, let's get back on track with Arcana. The fact of like, again, the fact that like our community is starting to grow to a really massive size, and even when you were starting to put some applications in to continue to do a lot more within our community. Let's talk a little bit about that. Where do you see the community going compared to the size of when it first started, even to now?
And I don't know. I think it's hard to say. Where do we see this going? I don't know. Since when I started and till where it's now, you look at the timeline, it's like, where did all these come from? And how much more are we gonna get? Like the growth on the timeline just since last year already is like, what?
Insane.
And
You
what about
don't even know where to go anymore.
And like, what about you guys too? I know, like, again, since we've had you on the show, we've kind of already reached the gambit of just like understanding when you first got in and all of your first experiences and stuff like that. But like, honestly, I mean, it has been a little bit of time since we last spoke about all sorts of different things between, even beginner DJs coming into the scene and getting to know more people that want to do bookings, even comparable to the hardware software. Where do you guys see things have been kind of matriculating, getting a lot larger, even since the last time that we talked?
So it's been almost a year now that we've talked for the first time. Since then, a lot has changed, especially on the timeline, right? The timeline has grown so much. There's so much stuff going on nowadays that it's kind of getting hard to um be original, like be stand out
Stand out.
stand
Yeah.
out stand out from the crowd, because there's so much going on. But other than that, I think the raves are just getting better. It's all great. Like, I think VRSL is going really good. There's cool stuff going on with a lot of new venues have DMX stuff, and there's so much cool stuff going on. For example, this weekend there's The Gathering, pretty cool show. I can definitely recommend that. Um, yeah, that's just it's so much for me. The sets have just increased. Like I've been having so many sets lately. It's insane. How about you?
How about me? Well, I can only agree. Like the race scene is growing by the week. The quality is rising across the board, and it's sometimes really hard to have an overview what is actually going on because there's so much going on at the same time. And I can only agree with Tatsu. Like the bookings roll in, more and more places are in demand of performers, and I don't see this slowing down anytime soon.
I know we were kind of idly talking a little bit about it yesterday when we got together, but I figured that I would drop this little bit of a bombshell early just to kind of get stir the pot, get it kind of cooking a little bit. But even more so when we were talking a lot about the new people coming in, finding bookings, as well as just this weekend is going to be the start, the meatball down the hill of many a festival for the next several weeks. Because not only is this coming on, Project Community Fest happening next week. After that, we have VRChat happening for a couple of weeks, and then I believe the Wolfie Fest is going to be happening at some point in time, and then before you know it, Devotion's going to happen, and then 4Seasons is going to happen, and then all these things are going to happen. So obviously we have a lot going on in our community, but I know as of yesterday we were discussing, you know, with the mass amount of people that we have currently in our community and what we're doing in here, the key component of what we do here is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be having fun while DJing. We're supposed to go out there and just like play for our friends or practice or whatever. But we're spending a good chunk of our time putting together these festivals. like I'm not gonna go ahead and just say, like, at the beginning of the stream I was just like, hey, Arcana, how you doing? And you were like, I'm melting, you know, like at the same time. But for real though, I mean, like we put in a lot of effort. We put in a lot of our own passions and strengths into the fun things that we do in here. And it's a quirky little way of doing burnout, but at the same time too, out of doing something fun, I think a lot of us in here, a lot of DJs and non-DJs, you know, event owners and club owners and all that sort of thing, we're constantly looking to either get stronger skills or to network much stronger than I feel like VRChat's like immediate category of just socializing. Who wants to get started on talking about this? Let's push it to Tatsu, yeah.
Okay. Oh God. Oh yeah. We're just doing a lot, and I'm not just talking 4Seasons. Everyone that is, I'm pretty sure you too. Everyone is doing so much, especially not just for themselves, but for the community, and that is amazing. I love seeing everyone working so hard, but still having fun. For me, for example, I love working on this. I love working on 4Seasons. It is a lot of damn work. It's a lot of work, guys, but it's so fun too. Just getting in there and making it better, as good as it can get, is just so nice. And seeing the payoff, which hasn't been there yet because it's not been 4Seasons just yet, but seeing the slight payoff, for example, when making the poster, for example. We worked together on that poster with
Yeah.
Akira, our designer, Merles, Chaika, Chaika Raven, and I, and then in the end, we were all on it. Like, I think Arcana did something, and Kex threw something in here, and
At weird ideas, yeah.
yeah, and then we also worked on the video, and in the end, looking at it, it paid off. It looks so great. We're so happy with it. It's so cool. And of course, don't forget Happy. Happy did all the work for the website with Arcana, of course. and it's amazing, and it's only getting better. But yeah, let's
Doesn't it?
try to not burn out.
Yeah, doesn't it kind of seem a little surreal that we are kind of branching out into more? I mean, I'm trying to figure out a really good response to this, a really good understanding of where we're going with this. But everybody is starting to kind of branch out of just being in a hobby shell or just kind of performing for friends, and they're really trying to make their passions grow, not just through business stuff. I mean, again, I could sit here and say business until I'm blue in the face, but at the same time too, like, I don't know, there's this quirky little takeaway from doing an IRL show. You learn a little bit as you grow. But then those are some really prime examples for anybody else that are looking to kind of get into it too. And these are the types of conversations that I really love to try to open up on this program, is just for that fact, is like, it wouldn't surprise me if there are a bunch of people that are trying to make really bold moves and trying to, I don't want to even say compete with 4Seasons, but there's going to be a time where, again, even last year, you guys sold out of tickets. Had a really fun time. From the videos, it looks like you guys had a ball. But
it was fucking great, man. It
yeah.
Wonderful.
But that's the thing, though, is like, now you're gonna have to double down, and you got to make sure that is going to be a much larger thing. But everybody's so hype about it, and then other people that are trying to get into getting an understanding of IRL competition, there's a weird. You have to learn a little bit of these skills, and I know even earlier on, Arcana, you were talking a little bit about earlier, even before VRChat, you were able to hone in a little bit about these coordination skills. Tell us a little bit about how even bringing that into the club rave scene in here currently, how you're able to help out with like Club Reality, for example, helping put together events and stuff.
Well, way before VRChat, I dabbled a little in some kind of fandom, but it's like these kind of creatures there, they're fluffy, and I dabbled a little in the furry community. And at some point, well, I want to party. So hey, me and my buddy, we started a party. So imagine it was like 2012, 2013. This was way long ago. But we started. We had a local place, and we just we start throwing up raves for furries in the middle of the Netherlands.
Was this because you wanted to learn more about the furries, or do you say you are a furry too?
I'm always like, I like technical stuff. I like music. I like lights. I like video. I like photos. And it's like, it seems like a lot of fun to do. That's mostly it. So
you didn't answer the question if you're a furry.
Yeah, kind of dodging that one.
I deny everything. Sorry.
So you're making parties for the furries, but you're not.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Well,
sounds like a trap.
This one.
Well, we did this for several years. I think we had like 11 of these raves, and the last few of those were in the current venue. We're gonna have the next 4Seasons. So already had a lot of experience with doing IRL parties, all the technical sides, the planning side, the logistics sides, all of this, and also all these contacts to help, of course, because I stepped in there for 4Seasons, and they're like, we know you. Oh yeah, that's all right. The ice was already broken, so we're like, oh yeah, we're locked in. We're having 4Seasons here.
Networking, baby.
So I know, like, I kind of known you three from Club Reality, so I feel like I'm going to be referencing a lot about Club Reality, because I always feel like you guys are always hanging out there or helping out with the staff. But all of that also kind of is a cog in the wheel of understanding how to make it work from I want to party to let's throw a party. So I want to kind of be able to piece together all these little cogs to make it all kind of work out and together. And before we get into your immediate roles within 4Seasons, I want to be able to break that kind of down a little bit more with you, Arcana. It's just the fact that there are a lot of people that are not only DJs in here that want to do other skills within our community, but also too, like as we've said many times, I feel like a lot of clubs have said this many times too, is that if you're a DJ, you can also do other things. You can become a VJ, or you can become a dancer. You could do like a promotion. You can make the posters and all that sort of stuff. But even more so, like, there are still a ton of people that we get to experience or talk to almost weekly, where they're just like, I'm going to throw a party, and then they're going to try, and it's either they succeed or they fail, and then they learn. But at the same time too, they're trying to mimic what one of the parties that are constantly being thrown around, especially at Club of Reality. So I want to be able to kind of get a good idea between when you first started saying, I wanted to just party, I'm going to kind of learn a little bit about it. Let's start with that and get an understanding of like what worked for you, what didn't work for you. And this is just not even just in VRChat, but more of just like IRL stuff too. Because I feel like anybody could throw like a birthday party or a party in their backyard or at the park or something. But when it does come down to the brass tacks and understanding, okay, I need a DJ. Oh, I need posters. Oh, I need lighting. Oh, I need all this sort of stuff. What were some of the things that worked for you and some things that kind of you failed on, but you learned?
Well, when we in the early days of like Club Reality in this case, well, you don't know a lot of DJs. You just you know some of your friends, and you have to start reaching out, finding DJs. Also, a lot of problems where you walked into, because early when we started the club is venues. There's a lot out there, and quality is a hit or miss, or the player doesn't work. I mean, this is earlier VRChat. There are a lot of things and then planning to, and then I don't know, somewhere later, a lot of clubs started having their own worlds. You have to consider that. Yeah, and at some point, yeah, you also have to think about, yeah, we have to do posters, because you want to have some reach. And where are you going to advertise those posters? It's a lot of things to consider.
So when it comes down to like being able to put something like this together, I think when it first comes down to it, you know, let's just say you want to start a party, you're going to start a party. You either have a bunch of friends or you don't, and you kind of just start that whole process. But as you continue on with it, as we were talking about 4Seasons, that there has to be a way to translate between the amount of time it takes and with the skill that comes with that, and being able to say, okay, I want to have an IRL party now. And I'm sure that there's some working parts in there too to have a better understanding, because an IRL party is definitely not developed the same way as a VRChat party. So I kind of want to, I think one of the things you were saying was just the staff alone. You know, you can't honestly just make an IRL party by yourself. That's going to take up a lot of time, a lot of efforts and stuff like that. But even just cultivating a staff within 4Seasons, how much of a staff do you genuinely need to run this entire thing?
That's a difficult question. I think it just, how far do you want to go? Like, obviously you can run this entire operation by yourself, but I mean, if your aim is 10 people, I mean, you probably could get away with it. But once we started growing, like last year, was the first time we started doing this more serious towards a bigger crowd. So we started to think, oh, we need someone to do lights now. Oh, I don't have time to make merch. We need someone to do that. And I don't have time to talk to all these DJs while I am doing other things. So how many people does it take? There's quite a few cogs in the wheel.
I also
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
for
Yeah, go ahead.
that's for sure. For this year, for example, we have I think 6 people on staff um that do everyone does one thing, or well, mostly one thing, and then
Mostly.
you do this and that, this and that and there, and then you do everything again. But that's how it goes. There's just so much going on. But yeah, we have, for example, we have someone to do the designs. We have someone to do the DJ lineup. For example, Kex was the main person who was doing the DJ lineup. I supported him on that, and that's who did that. Then, for example, um, being in contact with the venue or everything around there. We got Arcana going on for that. He has been networking with everyone, has been talking to everyone. Then for technical matters, for example, visuals or LD stuff, he's doing the LD stuff. I'm doing the visuals. I'll be working on a lot of visuals. But all this still is not enough. That is why we also rely on volunteers. Because if you're down to help, we would love to take your help. Even though currently we just have been looking, or at least last year, most of the volunteers have been just for at the event, for example, as a helper, stagehand, a bar, or security. That was the main points last year. This year, we're looking more for also stagehands again as helpers, but also we're looking for people that are interested in lights, who want to try out lights or already know a lot about lights and want to LD, for example. That is where we're looking for people that are passionate about this and want to help us out. And currently we are looking for that, like LDs and VJs, and of course just general help. That is always appreciated.
And I was kind of talk a little bit about how most of the time when it comes to doing stuff in virtual reality, it's just that. It's just asking and saying, "Hey, this sounds cool. How do I get into it?" Outside of just, going on the internet and searching how to do it yourself, you could technically come into any of these clubs or instances and be able to talk with you guys on how to learn this
Mm.
sort of thing. But you make it seem like you could technically still be doing this IRL and learning about this IRL, but it's just the desire, the will to learn it and wanting to try to learn it. Because even in this case, like obviously with Tatsu, we know that you DJ and you love to DJ, but being the visual lead for this show, it kind of seems like you do want to put a little bit more attention towards learning how to do that even better.
Yeah, for sure. So for this year, 4Seasons, we have an actual LED screen, like an actual LED wall that is, in my opinion, pretty damn huge because it's gonna be, I don't know, what was it, 6 meters by 3 meters tall? Like 6 meters wide, 3 meters tall. So this year we have to think about visuals. We have to think about a visual design. Last year we had lights and that's it. Maybe we had a few flags and, well, the lights, and had some LED strips on the ceiling, but that was really it. So there's not too much going on there. Yet it was still amazing. But this year we have at least triple the amount of lights and an LED wall where we have to think about the visuals. And currently I will be doing everything on my own, which is going to be a lot of work, but seeing it's 3 months still away, it's kind of doable. If not, I'm just looking for someone who can help, and I'm sure there will be people who will be down to help. But there's also people who, yeah, it's complicated because a lot of IRL stuff requires IRL measurements or IRL stuff called money that we do not have, for example. And I totally understand where people are coming from if they want to get paid. I would love to do that, but that's just not really possible if we do a non-profit and are probably going to walk out of this. Yeah, even probably if lucky, if lucky. But if you want to, what I wanted to answer before that for in-game, I think Merle said something really, really, really nice. And that was, if you want someone to do the lights, for example, someone that is interested in it, show them how it's done, make them more interested in it, and let them grow. Because currently, in his words, Marco, he has been, he joined Subsystem like 1, 2, 3 years ago. I don't know exactly. You can probably say more about that. But now
Sorry.
Merles considers Marco one of the better or one of the best LDs in VRChat. And I think that is the exact way that you have to go about it. You have to push for those curious people to show how amazing it can be. And if they love it, they will continue it and probably get way better than probably myself, which is so cool. I love seeing that.
I don't want to go ahead and just be all bare bones about it, but I think I'm going to try to, and even ask, how did you even, how were you practicing? Because again, as you're starting to learn in your process, I think a lot of people can relate because they want to learn a little bit more of it. What are a few things that you got to do that made you a little bit better at this craft that people can learn from?
So for VJ stuff, it comes a lot down to inspiration and also slightly copying or getting inspired from. For example, how I learn a lot of stuff or learned is I would try to make something that someone else did. That's how the first times back then I did a few things. I get a lot inspired by a person called Porter Robinson. I don't think anyone has heard that ever. But what you should do or could do is look on YouTube, search for something that you're interested in. I would look for Porter Robinson live shows or DJ shows and get inspired by how cool their visuals look. And then I would go into Photoshop, After Effects, or whatever, even Blender sometimes, and try to recreate it. And once you get it down, you kind of get the feeling of, oh, that's how it works. All right, that's pretty dope. Let me now try something different. Let me now try this. This could work really well. Oh yeah, and this could also do this. And how does that work? Let me look it up. Let me look up a tutorial how to do it. It's a lot of getting input from, for example, a video or someone else you see, and then just trying it out. Really, that's how I learn my stuff.
I know
I'm not amazing.
One of the trickiest questions to even think about too, especially when it comes to DJing in here, is just where is that line drawn in the sand of you saying I DJ compared to I DJ well, and also to the point of being able to explain the many cool things that you've done, or the many cool things that, because again, when it comes to performing in VRChat alone, not even just with an IRL experience, that there are those little those humps when it gets to understanding either doing a pop-up or gaining limelight or popularity, or even more so being invited to perform at a specific festival. I know, like we were saying, Gathering is happening this weekend, and it's kind of going to be a really big thing. And I think a lot of people that are beginning their DJing journey, they look in and they're just like, oh my gosh, look at these amazing DJs. I can't wait to hear from them. But they're also probably saying something like, there's got to be a reason why they got there, and most of it is kind of because they're good. But at the same time too, we've had to go through that and say, listen, we DJ, And we've had to go through that as well, where we perform and then we have to showcase how we perform, and we have to figure that out. So the question lies that I think a lot of people, I think one of the reasons why people aren't getting into VJ work anyway is just the fact of either A, the experience part of it, or B, not trying to understand what to showcase to be able to get, oh, this person is really skilled.
Oh,
Well,
God, that's a big one.
that is a very big question.
That is a big one, yeah.
To the subject as a whole, I would say it really depends on the community. It depends on who sees your shows, who is listening to you. Music is subjective. People love certain genres or they don't. Some people love a mix up of genres. Some people really don't like that at all when the music is changing. So it really depends on who is watching you at a certain time. Timing is very important. And I think also communicating with the people who like your stuff is very important. So you know what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, and kind of build on it, I guess. And there's no recipe really to, be better because, everybody likes something else in the end. And you can only do your best and learn from your mistakes. And you will have a crowd that loves you as much as you love them.
And speaking a little bit about community and being the lineup manager, we were trying to figure out a better term for it. I think we were going to say that Kex is the community. Have we figured that out? Have you figured out what your main role was?
Community manager.
Yeah.
What?
Community manager.
Was it just be community manager?
Community management, yes.
Community management.
Yes.
So talk us a little bit about your role. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time just sitting down with people, having a talk about previous 4 seasons, about things that are happening in VRChat right now. And I must say, creating a lineup for this specific event is not an easy task because you're not just a big festival or whatever where you just look for the greatest DJs out there. No. You look at the applications you get. You look at the people you have in your community. You look what they want to offer. I specifically say want to offer because we gave everybody a chance to let us know what they like to perform. And in the end, we had a very hard choice to make.
For sure, yeah.
And for the community itself, it was important to pick people who they know as friends as much as they know them, as much as they know what DJ skills they have, and not only to create the biggest lineup you can think of. Another thing, which was also important, is 4 Seasons was always a multi-genre event. Like different stuff, different music, mixed up, new things, and and we came to an issue, a big wall, a big obstacle, where we had a lot of applications with either the same genre or stuff that is just way too hard. So we had to reconsider rebooking people we had the previous years that people know in the community, love in the community, and to uphold the progression throughout VRChat, especially since we have another community joining us this year, which is definitely having a very hard lineup. So we had to somehow, said stupidly, I guess, but I had to keep it down a little bit so we're not losing the people who like to have a more chill music environment than just going purely bass in your face.
I think for this year, it took us quite a while, actually. I think we were talking about it straight up. So we had when did we stop the applications? Like somewhere in May? mid May, I think it was.
Yes. Yeah.
And from that point on, we've been talking about the lineup nonstop, and it still took us 2 weeks to do it, just because there's so many cool, talented DJs, and we want them to play what they want to play, right? Because they should be they should be able to do what they love and what they want to show up or show off. And it was just so hard to get something in the lineup that would progress really nicely. But in the end, we did manage to do that, and I think the lineup is pretty damn sick.
It's
Especially
definitely
with the-
harder than it was the last few years.
Yeah,
but
it is
we had
harder
more-
than last year, for example. But we do have a pretty damn good act called Rob Roman's Voice. They're pretty good. I don't know if you have heard of them, but I think they can do pretty well. With what we've planned.
Yeah, I mean, you hope so. I guess that's the one thing to say.
I sure hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't show up, not even in a Miku wig, man, I'd be disappointed, dude.
Well, I mean, all jokes aside, though, obviously it's going to be a really fun show. But at the same time, too, I mean, you guys are definitely right. You're hitting the head on the pin when it comes to the difficulties of all of this, and I do want to recognize that there are some questions that we want to get to in chat. We're gonna get to that in just a moment, but also and anybody who else wants questions, feel free to chop them off in chat so we can talk about them. But at the same time too is like, you know, Kex brings up a really valid point, and this is something like I don't want it to seem scary. Well, maybe I do want to make it seem a little scary, because when you're first starting to make a club in here, that's one of the first things that you genuinely have to kind of get over. The fact is your lineup is key. The lineup is going to be what draws everybody into your show. And what a better place to be able to put on a show in VRChat where everything is free, that you don't have to worry about ticket sales or any money coming in, let alone seeing any particular growth at the end of it all. But it also begs to fight the question, if that with its severity in here, you know, does it have enough weight when there's not enough money involved? Now, what we were talking about earlier, and something that I think that you guys need to also address, which you have been addressing, is that any funds that are coming into 4Seasons is going to be pumped back into the show, into the next year and the following year and all that sort of stuff. It's non-profit. So that's very, very cool. However, yeah, the lineup is still a very important key component when putting together a live show, because that's going to be based, like, imagine having a wonderful lineup and getting a ton of money that you pump into the next year and getting a much larger venue, or having more people coming to perform, and, you know, just and having, you know, a much I don't want to compare it to like Vans Warped Tour, because Vans Warped Tour right now sucks. But Vans Warped Tour earlier on, they just kept pumping up with their lineup, and their lineup now is just what? But at the same time too, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And that's the thing that's so difficult to be talking about within our scene, and just how early we were talking about how, like, you know, VRChat should be fun. Making events in here is fun. But then when you start getting into like the, you know, the detailed parts of business and running a show, and we genuinely bring it up a lot, because I think we all care for it and we have passion for it, but we have to be real about it. We have to have a better understanding of, like, you know, if you're going to pump money into a program, you have to be like comfortable losing money if you don't get it right the first time. In VRChat, it doesn't matter, because there's no money involved. But and that's the tough part too, is when you have your friends, you want to hire your friends, but it's almost the same thing as if you're a manager and you hire your girlfriend, and then you have to be forced to fire your girlfriend. You know, like, nobody wants to do that. You know, HR will be so far up your butt, you know, like, at the same time, it's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So understanding this entire concept and being able to talk about it on this program is super important, not only for the fact that we do want to do IRL shows and we want to be able to do some amazing things, but there are some stipulations that we cannot deny, and there's stuff that we actually have to kind of get over.
Yeah, one big thing is definitely that no matter what we do, especially since it's a passion project towards VRChat is that the entire event is basically make or break depending on how much the community is actually involved in this, which means since we're non-profit, we obviously need to sell tickets so we can actually pay for the show we can provide, like for the venue, for the LED wall, for all these kinds of jazz.
Yeah.
And it's important that the community knows that as well, that we are not creating something to make people famous or whatever, or
Or pocket
having
the money
like
from you guys.
yeah,
Give me your
or
money.
have any profit from all of this. It's basically meant to be an event that is created by community feedback in the end.
Driven by passion.
If we've driven by passion, but it depends how well we will, get this done in the end. We can only do our best. We are only human as well.
Yeah.
But I can assure you we put countless hours into listening to our community, especially the people who have been around 4Seasons for years. And try to recreate the experience, but in a bigger scale,
Oh my god,
I
noobs.
would say.
Yeah, that makes $5 per shot.
In a bigger
Hell yeah.
scale.
I want to add to that, to the lineup thing as well. Of course, we would love to have every time someone like a completely new lineup, but in the end, we have to have a balance of what do we want, what do the DJs want, and what does everyone else want. And in the end, you have to have it balanced between, okay, we have this many new people that people maybe haven't seen before, maybe they haven't seen them on a lineup, but also people that already are known and that people love. A great example, we have a specific kettle in our lineup that kind of everyone loves, and I don't know. I really like Jiggy, and I think everyone else really likes Jiggy. And yeah, as I said, I think the balance is what it what it makes.
If it wasn't going to be me being really straightforward, but I also think that tough love needs to happen. And while we are so far in our element in VRChat, where everything can go our way and everything is perfect, and sometimes you do have perfect lineup or everyone gets a time slot, the tough love eventually will make you stronger. And the weakest, hardest point to be talking about, especially talking about this topic, is that this is the weird, like, crooked sidewalk path to walk on when you're going from a virtual reality experience to an IRL experience. You can't expect everything IRL and business to work the way you want to, especially prime example for those people that go live on Twitch all the time and you go get partner, and then once you get partner, it's just like you think everything's going to be great and you're making all this money, and then you quit your job to do full time and it just doesn't work. There's no one to be blaming but yourself. But at the same time too, like, everybody's path's a little bit different, but we grow when we receive failure. And I'm not saying that the people that that applied for 4Seasons and didn't get in, I'm not saying that they're failures, but I'm just saying that, like, you need to use this example to better yourself constantly. And this is the same for almost every part of the DJ experience, and it just in general. It's not even a VRChat thing, but it's all of that growth that definitely will shine a little bit later and a little bit brighter, so that way you can say, hey, maybe next year I'll be able to do it. And you can't just do every event. You just can't. And even if you do, think about it the way that any content creator in VRChat grows, and or any platform for that matter. You get quick fame, you rise up, and then you go all the way down, and then everything. It's like, what happened?
Yeah.
So, but you have to learn from it. You have to grow from it, and even when it comes to IRL things, that's important too. You're not gonna know what to do with a sprained knee, or when you scrape your knee until you scrape your knee and you go ow, or you do the Peter Griffin thing where you're just like yeah. Yeah, it's got to do with that. Yeah, see, at least Peter Griffin even knew about that too. But
Right.
I want to get to some of the questions before we dive more in, because I feel like Arcana is getting a little bored here, so we kind of have to pick on them for a little bit.
I would like to add something to that. Of course, we don't want to say no to anyone, because obviously it's also hard for me or for us to say no to such talented people. There have been so many amazing DJs that applied that we couldn't take on, like, on the lineup, just because it either didn't fit or some situations had, like, specific U.S. American politics that I don't want to get into, that people can't make it because of that. And that's just sadly how it is. Not everyone can be on the lineup, but we would love to have those people for next year, for example.
Yeah, but think about the tough love. Like, the cool thing about tough love is that there will always be someone that goes, well, if I'm not cool enough to be here, I'm going to go make my own thing. And wouldn't you believe it, they make their own thing, and maybe it's successful. Maybe
successful, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they can get into it and be like, well, maybe I'll just do my own thing. There's nothing wrong with that. You could totally do your own thing.
Not. And that is great. Of course, if you get butthurt because of it, and then do that, go for it. Make your own thing. Make it good. I would love to see you succeed with it.
Let me say something. All right. So we have thought a lot about this lineup. I think that's clear by now. We have put a lot of work into making it an experience. The biggest thing here is we have to measure on a level that is given by the community. And by the community, I mean mostly by the people who have attended 4Seasons before, because these people are the loudest. These people will basically tell us and guide us where to go to make it a great event for the next years, because these are the people who have experienced 4Seasons firsthand, and these are the people who know exactly what's going on there and why they want to come again. That's definitely what I wanted to say.
Now,
All right, let's move on before Arcana is getting bored.
I mean, listen, this is the reason why we have this show, so we can sit here and kind of talk a little bit about it. There is a very long question concerning about training in DJing, and you would train in private, which has everything to do with this topic, but and I want to get to it in a moment, but I do want to ask the cheeky question of, still curious about the activities during the week of 4Seasons as a whole, and as our community manager over here. Oh, is it not the community manager is not running that, or is
it's more it's more Arcana, but mostly that I think Akira does that, right? I think
Akira does that. Yes, we have so maybe for explanation is of course, 4Seasons, the main event, the event we're selling tickets for is the 2 days on the weekend, Friday, Saturday. But for good old-fashioned 4Seasons experiences, I would say we always offer some activities for people throughout the entire week before the event, basically creating a small meetup, which gives the people a possibility to get to know other people who will attend the event on the weekend, hang out with them, have a talk with them without being in a rave environment, and and experience the Netherlands, just like being on vacation, getting to know your friends, getting to know new people without,
getting to
being in the
Minecraft
heat.
Flatland.
Are we going to the beach? Are we having a beach day?
We could.
Is there
Actually,
a beach?
There is of course. It's
let the guys cook.
Okay, we'll let him cook real quick.
What do you mean, let me cook? No, we have a separate person which is local to the Netherlands, who is working as, I would say, a tour guide, more or less. It's not really, something that people have to do. It's more like, all right, we have these activities planned that might be a good idea or not. You decide that you want to join, and we have this one specific person who will basically take over the coordination of getting all the people there together. And that's basically what it is.
Can we
Yeah.
go to Maskantje?
Since
Can we go to
it's
Maskantje,
four
Arcana?
seasons, the first 4 seasons, it was just a friend meetup. So we just took off a week. One day we're just gonna go ham at this event because our friend DJs are there. But we always took off like a week or even longer to just go do stuff. So since 2021, we also always went to like an amusement park. We went to get sushi with the boys, like, and we kind of want to keep that, but obviously we're trying to make things more serious, but we still want to kind of keep those activities going. So we want to offer these experiences still the week prior to the 4 seasons. It's like, oh yeah, well, if you have the time, want to stay longer, hang out with the community, well, we try and give these activities. We'll plan some around like karaoke night. Everybody loves a good karaoke. Well, almost everyone.
Yeah, I think a
Tex?
lot of people want to hear me
Almost.
do some
Almost.
karaoke, but at the same time,
I want
I'm
to
like,
say I don't. I hate it.
So there's a whole lot of nothing being said. We're still working on the complete lineup of what we're gonna do, but there's definitely gonna be a karaoke night and a definite drinking night, maybe even joined by Rob Roman's voice.
You're in the mix,
Yeah, maybe we're even in the mix. Who knows? Maybe he'll even
was
live DJ
that
for us.
the
Who knows?
reason why I'm
No.
coming out for this? Is to be
No.
honest.
No,
totally the
not.
only reason, of
Oh
course.
my
Yeah,
God.
it's the only
See,
reason,
this is
really.
what
It's
happens.
just
See,
Rob Roman
we were
for
just
the
talking about
drinking
fame, guys. Don't be famous because they're gonna make you do silly stuff. They're gonna send you out there to do weird stuff, man.
Yeah, don't beat the voice.
Yeah,
Oh.
most definitely be something else. Anyway, let's carry on with some other questions.
No.
And like we were, why? Well, you have something else to say?
I just want to say, Nova Scare, you're not getting forced to sing, but you will be playing what was it called?
21 Pilots.
Oh yeah, that too. No, you'll be playing the trivia games. I will be forcing you to do that.
Wait, yeah.
So there you go.
All right, that's it.
Oh, perfect. See, that's good. It's good communication. There's good communication. Yeah. So I want to kind of dive in a little bit. I know we'll kind of hit it and quit it. We'll kind of continue on with the things that we want to discuss here with 4 Seasons, and we're doing it live here on VRCDJLIVE, of course. Answering your questions for Arcana and Kex and Tatsu Tracks here, because again, this is the time, man. If you want to ask your questions, this is the kind of to get into it. But just to kind of going back to the conversation we were going to about being able to practice and doing pop-ups, and it's more of a question for Tatsu and Kex, not so much for Arcana, but not yet. Not until you start DJing. But at the same time, like obviously,
Well,
yeah. I mean,
I
your
have great
opinion,
advice.
your opinions are matter here too, of course, from the community. But the question kind of states, how often do you guys have to train in private before you guys are comfortable enough to perform live? Now, this is kind of a multi-layered question because most of the time in VRChat, you do a lot of practice in private. You have to break the ice. Per se, when it comes to performing for clubs or reaching out to clubs, and being confident to perform in front of people, i.e., watching body language of the crowd, and if they enjoy a song, maybe you should lean into that a little bit. If they're tired of it and they're walking away, you kind of have to learn a little bit more, and that's part of the process. But even more so because now you guys have had that IRL experience compared to the virtual experience. I think the real question is what is different compared to doing something virtual compared to an IRL thing?
Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Oh, well, I have something to say to this.
All right, go on.
I'm a nervous person in general. I'm never ready when I perform. I'm not ready in VR, and I'm definitely not ready in IRL. This is more something I would say is something that you do because you love doing it. And in the end, you will try no matter what. You do your best. I would say it depends on the person's experience, how they will deal with having a real-time crowd in front of them, especially especially in another country or whatever. And the only thing you can do is prepare as good as you can. And well, nobody's perfect. Just put this in your head. Nobody's perfect. And even if you do a mistake, you're probably the only one hearing it in the end.
That's for
It's
sure. That's for sure.
yeah.
So, for me, if we're going back to the question, especially starting out, blah blah blah, from private to comfortable performing live, for me, it's probably a bit different than for others because when I started DJing, that was in 2020. It's now almost 5 years since I started DJing. I got myself a controller, downloaded a few songs from YouTube. I know, right? Crazy. I'm sorry, but I think everyone did it at the beginning. And it's not wrong. If you want my songs, either write me or just download them. I don't care. Go for it. What I want to say is, for me, it was pretty much getting thrown into the cold water because I unpacked my DJ controller, maybe DJ'd 1 or 2 times, and then met my best friend called Gary, also called Kuga. He's also in chat. He subscribed before. Crazy. Thanks. I met him and he invited me to a birthday party. And I was like, you mind if I bring my DJ controller? And he said, yeah, why not? And that's where the first time ever started DJing in front of people. Before that, I watched a few tutorials and that just gave me the edge of, okay, I think I kind of get it now. Let's just do it. And I think that's the best way to train. Let's just do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you do. Especially a lot of people don't even notice mistakes, as Keck said. You will be making mistakes. I regularly do a lot of mistakes still, but it doesn't matter because in the end, it just matters that you do it and that you have fun with it. And that is the important part. You got to have fun with it and then just work your way through it. Just do it. Just do more. Just play. Reaching a base level was for me just straight up the first time I DJ'd because it was fun. I wanted to do more. So there hasn't really been a base level. It always was there, but it depends on the person because I'm probably a bit less shy than Kex over here.
By
But
far.
but still, I would honestly just say start out with your own pace, with your own stuff that you love. Take the songs you absolutely love and mix them together. Even if it sounds like a Spotify transition, it's not a bad thing. Everyone starts somewhere. Just do what you feel like. And then do it in front of people and share what you love. Share the things you love.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of want to ramp this up too, because I mean,
Yeah,
being.
I know.
I mean,
I'm rambling
listen.
a lot, okay? I just want to share what I love.
I
Let me
mean,
share
listen,
what I
we
love.
understand that, like, you do it stuff in your room and then, like, you DJ and you're like, okay, I did it. But at the same time, too, like, the real applications is trying to figure out where to go from there to kind of do it IRL in front of people or even in VRChat in front of people, too. And that's why it's so great to have Arcana here, is just to be able to get a better understanding of that, too, especially when it comes to either trying to, plan and help out with groups like Club Reality and getting those newer DJs to come in to perform, or even in that space, a lot of the development of the worlds that you help out with that too. And I'm sure you've seen your share of new DJs, and maybe wits have gotten to them too. And let's see. I want to hear a little bit of your opinion on that too. Based off of that alone, is just like, oh, sure, you could be sitting in your room practicing, or you could be practicing in front of friends or something. But what is that entire process to try to showcase what you can do compared to the type of lineups that you're looking to receive for even just a VRChat club day?
Well, we get at Club Reality, we get a lot of applications of new DJs and people that want to try out their stuff at our venue. But for us, it's very important that the DJ can read the crowd, and I think interacting with the crowd, reading the crowd is I think I'm gonna not look at Kex right now. Is the most important thing about DJing.
What?
What?
I think what
What I
Arcana
do-
is saying is emceeing, talking on the mic and hyping up the crowd, something like that.
I'm seeing.
Oh, you're still
great
trying to
example.
learn that?
Well, I'm not the most confident person. Let's say it like that.
They have this
and,
thing called liquid courage. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh yeah, well, I'm aware.
Are you really? I don't think I've ever seen him drinking before any set ever.
Couldn't be me.
I'm seeing is maybe the biggest example of it, but there's many more ways you can interact with the crowd. You can have funny visuals. You can have that one track ready. The entire crowd will react to.
But that's what I'm doing.
A little party
on.
never kills nobody.
Yeah.
His most signature song ever.
At this point, I love this song. Oh my god.
It's a great song and everyone loves
Uh,
it. Yeah, Kex has his own things that makes him lovable. For example, being a Benui right now. Normally before he was something different.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with not being allowed during the sets?
What?
Explain yourself.
All right, we just have to get down on it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well,
Get down on it.
But even more, just better advice for those types of people. Like, is it a matter of being able to practice more that is more, more attractive, I guess?
well, with these people and with clubs, we try and get in everyone. We want to give everyone a fair chance, but I mean, as a club, it's kind of hard to take the DJ just started just 3 weeks ago and put them on the lineup because you're trying to put on a show for the community. So having a baseline there of some experience is definitely a requirement if you want to go to clubs. But there's also more casual clubs that just are looking for background music. They're doing their own thing. I would always suggest try out with those clubs. But even before that, go teach it for your friends.
Oh, that's a big one, yeah.
Yeah.
Just pop up. Have a pop up.
Do a pop up. Open an instance. Put your stream in. Play some music.
Sure.
Invite your friends.
Yeah.
That's always good experience to get on.
On the topic of, for example, Club Reality and putting together a lineup from the management perspective. For example, what I like to do is have someone that is quite known. Let's say a Jiggy again, and then in the beginning have someone else DJ that isn't as known. They're new or something, and giving them a chance is great. I love doing that, and sometimes it works out really well for the club, but sometimes it doesn't. There's always, again, this balance that you have to have. But there's a lot of also clubs out there that are straight up just looking for new DJs. For example, Rizumu's Launchpad. Great way to start. Go to Rizumu and talk to them and
Shout
play
out to
Launchpad.
Rizumu.
Hell yeah. Great way to start. But also, again, as we already said, have a pop-up with your friends. Works really well. Atian can talk about that quite well. He's now doing really well. He's actually getting booked, which is awesome. He started like this year. It's going really well. Really good.
Yeah. Definitely push your DJ friends to apply for those clubs and get them in.
Yes.
I mean, if there's going to do
So if
anything
you have
that
any
you
DJ
can
friends-
do in VR chat is not really pressure your friends to do it, but at the same time, like suggest that they should be doing it. Because I think a lot of that translation gets lost in between all sorts of different things, especially because we're constantly busy, or maybe we're thinking too much internally saying, oh, maybe I'm not so good about maybe I'm not good enough DJ to perform here. You know, that always seems like everybody's top gripe when it comes to performing in VR chat is I'm never too good to do something. But in reality, you just got to keep doing what you're doing. And if people like it, then you're already doing really well. It's VRCDJLIVE, and we're sitting here with Arcana and Tatsu Tracks and Kex of 4Seasons, and of course we are kind of we're kind of going flippy floppy when it comes to breaking down 4Seasons. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and the venue and your choice for the venue, but also too, you know, this is the time to ask all the questions. You know, VRCDJLIVE, we're here to kind of break down the real reality of an understanding of how to be a DJ, or even make that type of transition between DJ to you know, work in the circuit, doing some clubs, and getting bookings, even comparable to getting that IRL experience. We love to talk about this topic because of the fact that sometimes we see some clubs doing some IRL stuff from VR chat, and they set that bar really high. And all we've ever wanted to do is create our own something, or create our own version of it. And it's very tough to, when you have very little experience, even comparable to even sizing up to the same size as, you know, let's just say how 4Seasons has been growing for the past 5 years. So this is the type of questions to get answers to, especially because, again, I hate to say it, but like we have all these festivals going on, and we have all these things in VR chat that are going on, that people genuinely can take these skills and kind of apply them into real life. And you know, one of the things that was recently stated here earlier, which is, I don't DJ, but I feel like I think would be a good starting point to start DJing is open decks. And even more so, I'll kind of throw a monkey wrench in too and say, what's better to DJ at, open decks or do open format?
Oof. Open decks, in my opinion, is best when you're either a DJ who's in the general mood of, you know, throwing down music and you're not having anything planned. And also a good way for new DJs to find their way into a club, I guess. And open format is more something that I would use to directly speak to a crowd, like something more planned, more aware of what the people want, I guess. So I would say open decks is a general good idea. It's to keep the vibes going, to get new vibes, to get just to party. And the open format events, I would say, are very, very specific, hit or miss, in my opinion. And you also need to know what you're doing. So it needs some knowledge and preparation.
I'm sure Tatsu's got a couple of answers to this too. I'm sure you're thinking. I could see the steam coming out of your ears.
I wanted to say something else, not exactly about open decks or open format. I was just thinking about the how to get, because Paris was saying something about no one wanted to join, or no one joined when they did the pop-up, and I just thought about it. Open up a group. If you is it still VRChat Plus? I think it's still VRChat Plus. Get yourself 1 month of VRChat Plus and open a group for your DJ stuff. that's how I did it as well last year. I started making a group, and just invite the people that vibe with your stuff. And once you have that, you can just have a post saying, "Yo, I'm popping up. 1 or 2 people are gonna join. Then the next 1 or 2 are gonna join," and somewhat it just flows. Obviously, not every day is gonna work like that, because sometimes it's just the end of a holiday on a Thursday and it's not Friday. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. That's sadly how it is. But other times it does work. That's what I wanted to say.
I think overall, it's just a matter of just going out there and doing a thing. And it does seem a little dumb to say that and say, oh, well, you know, the first part of DJing is the DJing and getting the practice in and doing the thing. But sometimes we need those little really simple, you know, pep talks to just basically say that. You know, it's almost the same as getting out of bed in the morning. The motivation is, if I don't go to work and get this money, I might not eat or live. So the motivation is for you to get out of bed and go do your job so you can collect some money so you can live. That same motivation needs to be when you're DJing. It's just a matter of, you need to get out of bed, kind of go and practice a little bit. It's almost like an exercise. You go out there, and sometimes, you know, 20 minutes of exercise is genuinely all that you really need when it comes to that sort of thing. Now, per usual, as we were kind of getting back into understanding 4Seasons and getting back into 4Seasons, the fact that, like, are you guys kind of nervous that we're literally just a couple months away?
Absolutely.
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's troubling you? I mean, obviously, you're trying to put on the best event that you can, but like, what's the trouble?
Yeah, that's why it
I mean,
makes.
We have a meeting like every week. So we
Yeah.
have, for the past year, since the last 4 seasons, we had a meeting every week. We've been planning this, and every time it feels like, oh, we have so much time. We're so far ahead, and now the 3-month mark hits, and it's like, damn, we need to do so much.
Yeah.
It always gnaws at you.
Yeah, and also, isn't it like this? Like, you have a meeting every week, and it gnaws on you, and
Yeah.
even behind the scenes, we sometimes start to crumble ourselves. We sometimes are in a bad mood. We are stressed. You know, we're trying our best to make everything work, to come together, especially since everybody has their own opinion, the community has their opinion, and now you have to make every puzzle piece fit somewhere, and you just get frustrating when it just doesn't go where it belongs. And you fight through all of this just with the vision that you know that you creating something good, something great, something wonderful. And like Tatsu said before, then you finish a project like the trailer, for example, and you see what you created, and everything else is just gone. You forget what you went through. You're just happy it's done. But getting there is a very nerve-wracking and hard experience. Also emotionally for all of us, I think.
Yeah. And then you have it done, and then it feels like, I got it done. Yippee! A day later, you're like, shit, I gotta do this. It's always like that. I've been working a lot on 4Seasons, and that is currently also why I've not been streaming regularly anymore. I don't think I've been streaming since April, because I now have a full-time job and 4Seasons to deal with, and streaming is really hard in between. So currently, I'd rather taking my time, putting it into 4Seasons stuff, and get the best show out there, rather than for my own stuff. The streaming, I'm trying to get back, but it doesn't matter. For example, this week alone, I've been trying to start working on the visuals. I mean, you heard about it already. I did talk to you about it. I'm currently starting texting all the DJs about the visuals that are 4Seasons DJs currently. Heartbox is doing their own thing. I think have we talked about them yet? I don't think so. Well, later. So there's always something to do, and that timeline of Oh God, it's in 3 months. Are we gonna get this? Oh boy. Oh God, help. And then you still do it. I'm sure it's gonna be fine, but still nerve-wracking as shit.
I want to take a quick moment to kind of address the change of venue and the fact that you're getting a much larger venue this time. And that, again, that equally surprised me too. And we were kind of talking a little bit about it earlier, how like with all the visuals that you guys did last year, it just seemed like a real, I wouldn't even call it a frat party, but it looked like you guys were like having a frat party in this bunker and just kind of having just a lot of fun. And then it took me back a little bit because besides me actually going and performing there, I'm always in the mindset of like, we're going to this bunker. We're going to throw down. We are going to eat so much pizza that we're going to take the boxes and make them into a sofa. But that's not going to be the case this time. This time there's a much larger venue and there's going to be a whole different type of vibe. And I know earlier you were saying how like there was an influence to also kind of get this venue.
Yeah, I already had good contact with this venue. I had good experience. Like, maybe it's a little on the big side for us. Like, but we needed something to grow in, and we don't want to like move every year to something new. We want to have, now we have some space to grow in. We know these people. We can rely on these people.
That is very true. It's been really nice to work with Fluor so far. There have been a few hiccups, but that's nothing crazy to mention. But what you were saying, the frat party, don't worry about that. That's why we have the week before the event.
Well,
You're getting enough
it's not even a matter
You're getting
of
European drunk.
It's
Don't
not,
worry.
yeah, it's not a matter of me being worried about it. It's just a matter of just like, you know, because that venue compared to the new venue that you have, like, I mean, I don't want to say it's day and night, but at the same time, like we had, you guys had, from what I've seen, you guys have had like VRChat people in the little mini kitchen that was in this bunker, you know, doing something. They look like they were volunteering, working, doing something.
So first of all, it wasn't a bunker. It was a scout's place, like a scout's hut from Boy Scouts, I think it was, right? And what the people were doing in that small kitchen thing, that was our bar last year. We sold our drinks in there. If you really want to know that.
Yeah, and
I
that's
guess
that's
it's
one of
volunteer.
the things that you will notice that is changing, because we're growing at this rate. We have to make some concessions somewhere. Like last year, we arranged our own bar with volunteers. All the prices were insanely cheap. I don't think you will find that anywhere. Well, this year's concession is going to be like, okay, we now have this big ass venue. They have a big ass bar, and we need to pay for all that. So this year, the concession is we have to let them run the bar, and it's like, oh yeah, well, that's one of the things that's just changed. That's change that comes with growth.
Yeah, that's very true. I think we would have loved to sell our own drinks, but with a venue like this, that is an actual venue that can be used as an actual venue, you have to have these compromise, a compromise, right? It's we can't stay where we are because we want to grow, and I think that's just one of those things that we can't really do much about it.
I know a little bit about this question that just came in about in ticket sales, where would the break-even point be? Not really talking about finances, but just the fact that we were discussing how it's nonprofit, that the money that is pouring into is through the ticket sales are going to be pumped back into the program. But even more so, like getting an understanding of just creating an IRL experience through VRChat alone, and learning, taking your example and learning from it, that people can create their own thing from it. is kind of it's kind of difficult because I know one of the things that we were discussing yesterday was where does the money actually come from to rent out these places, and you guys were able to explain that it's kind of you guys are doing it as a passion. You know, there's no influence from any other people. There are no investors. The only investors are within the community, being able to fund a lot of these types of things. Even more so of Kex was even explaining too. And we actually got to see it a couple of times in VRChat alone, where the whole community legit was like, we have to do a funding project to get either some people to go over or even help, even get like a nest egg to make a much larger product happen. And a lot of this could be motivating. A lot of this could be like, if people start to learn about this in VRChat, that they could continue to learn and create their own things out of this. So I want your take a little bit about this too, is the fact that A, you guys want to grow, and B, don't think that other people aren't paying any attention, because they are, and they're using your example to continue to make more great IRL VRChat types of content.
Yeah, for sure. I think Arcana can talk about the money situation quite well, because, well,
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 I don't know. Where does the money come from? Well, we put in our own money first.
yeah,
Like, we're passionate about this. Like, I am passionate about all these electronics, these cool things we're gonna build, portals, LED walls. So, well, I am just go out and buy stuff for that from my own money. No, none of this money is coming from anywhere else. Like, I'm just spending my own money on this event because I want to make it as cool as I can. And talking about the question in chat is like, what is the break-even point? Well, I'm not even sure. I think probably if we fill half the capacity, that's about it. But we also decided, like, this venue can fit 600 people. We will never get that. We're not, but we also don't want to fill it up to 600 people. We know VRChat. A lot of us are introverts. We really want to stand together, side to side, sweating on each other's backs, because we want some space for everyone. Because we have seen events that people are like, it's too tight. This is not the ideal situation for the community we're trying to target.
Now, when it comes to financing and stuff like this, I want to dig a little bit deeper, because of the fact that we do talk a lot about bridging the gap between what we do in here and the outside world, as well as like big festivals, IRL festivals, to even record labels and other professional DJs and stuff. And I feel like we're always in the right direction to the things that we enjoy, but we're still trying to figure out that kind of a connection between either trying to make some money based on what you're doing or doing it as a passion project. One of the things that continuously gnaws at my brain is a conversation that I've had at the Winter Music Conference this past year, which I was able to showcase a little bit of what we normally do, performing in like Club Orion and having a full instance and having all these avatars and stuff. And everybody's main point would always boil down to, but how much money did you make? And that's kind of the name of the game. It's annoying to continue to talk about. It's annoying to bring up. It's annoying to kind of understand, because that's not anything that we know how to do. We know how to have a good time. We know the anime culture. We know Japanese culture. We know pop culture. And at the same time too, we're passionate about it, but somewhere down the line, that passion is going to kind of explode into a profession. And be passionate over your profession is definitely a thing, especially because we do want to hit some of the larger stages and be known. But of course, all of this kind of has something to do with the financial basis to it. So I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. And even though there is a nonprofit, and again, the money is going in, it's just getting recycled and stuff like that. How much more do you think that we have to continue to dig to make it worth our while, even in an IRL scene, amongst some of the greatest, not really the greatest festivals, but what are the steps that we need to continue to go if we do want to make this into a profession?
Oh, that big
Question.
question right there. Holy. I don't think we're currently planning to go in the direction of actually making money out of it. We are trying to be more professional while still being as passionate as we were last year. But a lot of it boils down to we cannot just stay at the point where we were last year, because if we want it to grow, we need to be more professional about it. And I think last year we also said no commercialism at all. And this year we can't really say that, just because we are in a venue that needs to make money, and we are their money maker. So we also have to make this money. IRL
we have
things require IRL, or like IRL problems require IRL solutions.
How much
And I
of a
think
how
we're
much of
doing
a
it.
player is that of understanding? Because like obviously you want to do a really good show, but at what percentage do you think that the money part of it, either receiving or pumping money into it, really plays a big role in just putting something like this together?
Well, it
mean-
always plays a big role. I mean, without the money, we cannot finance any of this. And last year showed perfectly fine that the cap that we had for ticket sales was way too low. There were so many requests from people that actually wanted to be part of the event but just couldn't. And at this point, we had to make a decision, and the decision was to, oh well, we expand 4Seasons, we try it bigger. So this is the first year we will actually have a bigger venue, a commercial venue, like Tatsu said, and we still have to draw some statistics afterwards, and we will see how it went, and from there we can basically plan the next years. And we're
So
still at a point where we're still in with our own money, just like we were last year. And at this point, it would probably already a godsend if we made enough money from ticket sales, merch, whatever, to not worry about losing our own money. That would already be wonderful in the end. We're not thinking any further as of yet, and we still
yeah,
have to see how it goes.
I think there's also something to explain here for the people that might not know. Last year's cap of 100 had a reason, because it not only was the venue like too small to fit more. No, there's also the Netherlands has a cap of a private, I think, private party that only can go up to 100 people, if not having the emergency exits and everything. We have to follow the rules of the country we're in. That is why we could not go over 100 people last year. Now, with an actual venue, we don't have to worry about any emergency standards or having actual like having to worry about like licenses for alcohol selling and everything like that. Because this year, that is where the venue comes in and helps us, because they have that already. Last year, we didn't have to do that because it was a party below 100 people, or capped at 100 people, that you don't need it. But as we want more people to join us, we want to give the possibility that more people join us. We had to go this way, and this way is not cheap, sadly.
Well, we definitely have to pay other fans though now, and it will still be a stomachache till the end, because we have somewhat of an idea what we will have to pay in the end, but with the venue, it really depends how much money the venue makes out of the drinks, for example, which will determine our rent in the end. And we cannot really say this right now. Right now, we are basically gambling. and we are still in with our own money.
Let's go gambling.
It does seem kind of
And what's
quirky to
important
even
gambling?
talk about the gambling part too, especially with the fact that I'm gonna hit you again with another bing bang boom. But like
Big bang boom.
even with the talk with Insomniac and like in Live Nation right now, a lot of people are boycotting a lot of these larger festival events just because of how much money goes into it, how less care that they're putting into these types of shows and these experiences. That, like, I'm not saying that festival culture is slowly dying or is slowly sinking ship, but we're always constantly on the brink of a new age of technology, a new brink of new modernization when it comes to a lot of these things. And again, with the gambling part, you know, again, 5 years of 4 seasons. I was gonna say 5 seasons. There's no such thing. 5 years of 4 seasons. You know, it's something. It's just gonna continue to get big. But where's that gamble into? You know, having a type of much larger festival or having great success out of all of this, even compared to the dying market of modern day festivals now.
Well, there's one big difference. 4 Seasons is not like a regular like event or a festival, whatever. It's meant to be an experience for the VRChat community specifically, and not just a public event for everyone that we want to throw out. It's supposed to stay an experience for our community, from our community, and that is the passion that drives all of this to begin with.
Yeah. That literally. I don't
The
think we are
end.
gonna. Yeah, the end.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we are gonna
end.
have the issue of what the festivals have, because, in my opinion, we're not as greedy as them.
Well, I'm not just saying.
They
I'm not
want
just
the
saying it
money.
like that, but like I'm just saying, like, you know, people are gonna miss the newspaper when nobody uses the newspaper and the newspaper just goes away. You know, nobody's gonna like reading magazines when magazines are gone. You know, like
Yeah, that's true, but you have to think about it this way. We are still in VR, and VR isn't going away anytime soon, I'm pretty sure. And this
No.
is not a event that is just an event. Like, it's an event for us from VR. The stuff in VR will still happen. It's just we want to meet everyone. We want to have a time together IRL. That is insane. That is so cool. That's what we want. And I don't think we will have the problem that, I don't know, EDC has, even though it's sold out.
I mean, obviously, you got a lot of people there that are just diehards and want to do it, but you still have the diehards that want to go to 4 Seasons. So that's kind of the important part. We are kind of coming up to the end of the program here, so we are going to kind of. I bet you guys were kind of chatting a little bit while we were getting things back up on track, and being like, "Oh man, I probably said something interesting that Rob would have definitely really loved to talk a little bit about." But before we kind of get a wrap up some things here on the program, I kind of want your opinion, Arcana, about this coming year. What are we expecting from 4 Seasons in 2025?
We're definitely trying to up our production value. Like, last year, even for a Boy Scout shot, it looked pretty cool. But this year,
I was gonna say, as a
it's gotta
tech
be-
lead though, like what are we expecting? I want to know.
I
Yeah, I'm
cannot
curious.
spoil too much, but like Tatsu already shimmered through. We have big LED one. It's already pretty cool. But this year we're also bringing out a portal.
Oh
We
my
get
god.
simultaneously look into people who cannot make it to the physical event. We can still party with them.
In VRChat and IRL at the same time. Well, that's normally how a portal works.
That's gonna be pretty awesome too, especially because I'm not gonna say that the portal is starting to become a popular thing, but it sure is getting pretty popular. The fact that even much larger conventions are wanting to do portal work too.
For sure. Especially, we're in Europe, but there's so many people that want to attend that are maybe from the US or Asia and just can't make it because it's so expensive. So we thought, how can we get 4Seasons into VRChat as well? How would you do that better than having a portal, right? So we're gonna have a portal event the same time, so you will not be able to miss anything, and it will also be streamed on Twitch just like last year. So don't worry, if you cannot make it, you can still join us in VRChat. I definitely recommend checking it out IRL because it's gonna be crazy. But in VRChat is gonna be really cool as well.
As far as the latency of the portal, like, I'm pretty sure it's just, you know, regular latency. At the same time, like, you know, it's not,
I mean,
it's not 1-to-1.
Obviously, it's not to 1-to-1, but with VRCDN, it's not too bad, actually. We already threw a portal last year
Yeah, we tested
at
this.
Akira on my birthday. We called it 4.5 seasons because it was kind of the same crowd. Much less people, but still. And we had a portal there, our first prototype, and it worked really, really well, and everyone loved it. It was such an amazing time. And we just wanted to bring that to this year's 4 season as well. And this year it's coming. We got ourselves an 100-inch screen for the portal. It's gonna be
Absolutely.
great. It's
Even
gonna
though
be awesome.
the internet was pretty bad.
The
your
internet at
birthday.
my place for the
And it still
birthday was
worked
pretty
great.
damn bad because it was somewhere random out of nowhere. This time we have actually good internet, which is gonna be great. That means the stream is gonna look better, and the portal is gonna look better. Yeah.
Hopefully better
Yeah.
internet than me just having the internet go out on VRCDJ
Yeah.
Live. Listen, there's a rolling thunderstorm and like rain and stuff happening, so obviously that's bound to happen. Yes.
On the latency, because Jeff was asking, you can expect normal VRCDN latency from Amsterdam to an EU server, because it's most probably going to be a VRChat EU server. It's, I don't know, 1 second max, maybe 2. Ask Jazzy Senpai. She knows. They know about this way more.
I think we can get the latency under a second with VRCDN.
Yeah, exactly. So it shouldn't be too bad. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Now, when it comes to 4 Seasons this year, what is kind of the overall goal for 4 Seasons in 2025 for you guys, especially celebrating your 5th year kind of anniversary?
Good question. Like we've been mentioning before, we just want to up our game. We just want to excel in everything we reached previously. We just want to get better at all of those things, provide more show. And this is also why this year we reached out to our friends at Subsystem/Hardbox. Like, we invited them over to join this with us, and I think that's going to be an absolute blast, because they're going to take over the last day, the last few hours. They're going to take over and absolutely destroy that shit.
Yeah, they're gonna go ham, and I'm so looking forward to it. And it's been a really great time working with them as well. They are an absolute great team, especially our friend Merle's. Best honey bear out there. Great guy. Can recommend. You have seen him on VRCDJLIVE before, because Subsystem has been featured in VRCDJLIVE.
That's true. Yep.
You should definitely check that out if you're watching the VOD right now. And yeah, it's gonna be absolutely crazy. Especially, we have them for us. They help us out as well for lights and visuals, which is great, and we really appreciate that.
Now, before we
Like we said,
yeah, go
all the
ahead.
help, all the help we can get is very appreciated. We
Exactly.
cannot pay anyone. We are not even save ourselves, but the community makes or breaks the event, and all the help we can get makes it an unforgettable moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, obviously you want to get a lot of volunteer help as well, but I know that you have some upcoming promotions that you want to continue to tell a lot of people about. Let's hear about some of the things that you do have coming up for 4Seasons outside of just the regular 4Seasons.
I think this is the time for Kex to take over and talk about things coming up.
Me?
Yeah, you. About a specific event that's coming up in July.
All right. I didn't want to spoil it, but here we are. So, I was talking about the reasons why we curated the 4Seasons event the way we did, and we had some applications again this year from people we had last year. And sadly to say, this is also one of the points where we were pretty heartbroken because we had to tell them, no, we cannot feature them again this year because we still want a flowing event without having too much reoccurrence, but still having a stable lineup. Therefore, we decided to come up with an event called 4Seasons Replay, which will feature all the people who have played last year who are not able to be on stage this year. And I'm very proud of our community that we can actually pull this off again and having a great time, getting everybody hyped up for this year's event. And I think it will be lots of fun.
And of course, that is happening in VRChat as well, too. I mean, I would assume that's what it is. It's just in VRChat.
Yeah, of course. It's an event that's happening in VRChat.
It's in VRChat, yes.
Well, that's super exciting. I'm very excited to see a lot of that action too. And of course, if you are looking for a very fun thing to do, and head on over to the Netherlands, happening towards the end of August, 4Seasons in Amersfoort. I'm not even saying it correctly.
Amersfoort, yeah.
Amersfoort. Did I do it right?
Almost. I mean, let's have our Dutchie say it.
Yeah.
Amersfoort.
There you go.
Wow. I'm gonna have to learn. No doubt.
Okay, I want to hear you speak fluent Dutch at 4Seasons.
I was last year.
out.
I went for Liquidity last year, and I was learning how to say Dutch things, and then everyone was like, "No, don't do that. You look stupid." And I'm like, "Okay, great, thanks."
Yeah, don't do things in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah. Well, stay out of the kitchen. Go for 4Seasons. Stay out of the kitchen.
I mean, all I can say is "Ik ben een banaan," and I think that's beautiful. Thank you, Duolingo.
Perfect. If there's anything that we could dig back up, is Duolingo. Of course, per usual, towards the end of the show here on VRCDJ Live, we'd love to ask our guests a couple of rapid fire questions. And I know it's been a hot minute because I don't know if we've done it with Kex or we've done it with Tatsu much earlier on, but it's definitely going to be worth our while to sit here and kind of ask these types of questions. For starters, I'd really like to know from each of you, because you each have a role here as well as the different experience that you've had either creating 4Seasons or doing club events or just DJing in here in general. But what is the best word of advice from each of you that you can give to people that are interested in either starting an IRL gig or DJing or anything that we have going on in our community? I guess we'll start over here.
Any words of advice? I mean, just go for it. That's. I mean, try and find something you're passionate about and just go for that. Because that's what
Just do it.
That's what we all do. We all come to this party, but not because we want to do 4Seasons. We all find a part of 4Seasons we're really into. Like me and Tatsu, that's all the tech stuff. We really love doing that.
Yeah, tech.
Kex, he's been community a lineup manager for 4Seasons. He loves interacting with the community, even though he is a very shy person.
I'm a meme.
Man. Yes, you are, and we love it. Everyone loves it besides you.
Yes.
I feel that.
Help me.
Yeah, I feel
Let
that.
help.
It's fine. You'll get over it.
Have you heard?
Just go for
We're in the mix with Rob Roman's voice, playing exclusively for the dysfunctional family.
Not this time.
No, this time he's playing exclusively for 4Seasons.
Whoa.
Okay.
So your word of
well,
advice, yes.
Yes. If we're talking IRL events, I want to say, maybe start small. Take your friends, have a party, try it out. Then next time, grow a bit bigger. Get some I don't know, some equipment, like rent some equipment. Doesn't have to be too expensive. Just make it a bit bigger. And just scale it how it feels good. Just start out, just do it, and make your dream come true. If we have to, you know, quote specific ads from a specific sports brand. Um, yeah, just have fun, go for it. Yeah, that's really it. Don't overdo it at the beginning.
Don't overdo it, just do it.
Yeah.
Kex?
So my word of advice comes really from heart. So no matter what you do, be yourself, be nice, be respectful to yourself and others. Keep dreaming and don't give up. And I see you at 4Seasons.
See, that's the way you do it. See, it's a rapid. I love how it's a rapid fire, and then Taz is just like, have fun, and love, and do this, and just kind of floating
I'm
around
sorry,
up here.
I talk a lot. I'm just like you, okay?
That's true. You know, I suppose, I guess. So carrying on with our rapid fire, one of the newest questions on my list here is, what are a couple of new musical artists that you're currently listening to?
New musical artists. Yeah, it's I've recently found this artist. I have never heard about it, but someone kind of dragged me to a concert, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is pretty cool." It's Porter Robinson. Yeah, it's definitely not Tatsu's idea. And
I don't know what he's talking about. No.
that's pretty cool.
Um,
I have a very broad spectrum of music I do enjoy. I mean, next week with the boys of Art Books, we're going to DEF CON. But yeah, like I said a weeks ago, we were at Porter Robinson. And it's like pretty broad spectrum of genres I enjoy. But what I've enjoyed recently, I don't know. I usually enjoy my who have enjoyed recently. I don't know. Whatever these guys play.
yeah, I guess. I mean, that's a good question, actually. For me, I just came from an Ado concert, so I've been listening to quite a bit of that. You know, you have this, the concert effect. You listen to the shit after and before the concert. That's normal. I've been listening to quite a bit of Hatsune Miku, but you probably never have heard of them. They're pretty new. They're only 16. Yeah, this is hard. Who else have I been like? Is there someone that is a bit smaller that I've been listening to? Baby No Money. It's not small, but I've been listening to Baby No Money a lot. Okay, Keks.
Oh well, my music. What do I like? I do like a lot. And there's almost nothing I haven't heard at least one. What?
Emo music. Look at it.
Oh
Look
yeah.
at the
Emo
money.
music.
Yeah. I love metalcore as well, like a lot. And there are names of artists I could throw out right now what I really enjoy. Like, let's stay with the metal, like Electric Callboy, for example. And I also love happy hardcore a lot, like Searle and whatever. Like really great vibes. But there's one music genre that will always be my favorite, and that one is electro swing, by far. Yeah, I can 100% agree that
Banger
that is the
genre
one
for
genre
sure.
I I can never get enough of.
It's always good to hear what other people, other DJs are listening to, and other people in our community, especially as it's continuously growing, especially with the electro swing. Again, that surprises me. We just had Juno Tanuki on last week talk about the disco scene. That was crazy too. There's a lot of people that are interested in disco. Is just blowing my mind. So getting to learn about the things that you guys are learning about is very important to our community as well. Speaking of which, I think it was Cake Mix that actually asked the question, and it's always the worst question to ask, but what are your top 3 DJs in VRChat to look forward to this year?
God damn it.
My
this
personal
one again.
top three DJs for this year's lineup. Ooh, I mean, who am I really excited to see to perform? Well, to be fair, my top pick of this entire lineup, it's gonna be the Bats and Max Seraph. They're back to back. I mean, Max Seraph has been a 4Seasons DJ since day one, and he always throws down crazy drum and bass and dubstep. And then last year, I got to know Bats' insane energy. Oh, and I saw them vibe together during last 4Seasons, so I'm definitely excited to what they're gonna be cooking up. And that's 2. Third one, it's gonna be my man Jigsaw.
Jiggy.
That's just I don't know how he
From
does it, but he
Unity
always does it.
days. Yeah.
Man, Rob, you're asking always the worst questions. I swear to God.
Well, we want to know who you're watching. We can't just imagine
Yeah,
you
of
coming in here
course.
performing and thinking, "Oh, I'm the best," and then not knowing who else to see.
Is it the question about who we're excited for at 4Seasons or in general?
No, in
That's-
general, yeah. We
general.
want to we want to be able
Oh.
to see some new
Oh.
DJs. Well, I mean, if you want to say 4Seasons, you can say 4Seasons, but we want to see some new people in VRChat.
Oh man, you are
Stick with 4Seasons.
What?
Stay on topic.
I could stay on topic, but I have at least one pick that I really enjoy recently, and I really, really love the sets from Idol. Idol has so many good vibes, and I love her. Amazing. Also add 4Seasons replay. Who would have thought? Oh man, who do I enjoy listening to?
Not sure, no, Mike.
I wish I had a
What?
cricket effect because this is the worst rapid fire I've had in a very long time. No,
I'm
sorry, not sorry.
I mean, I do enjoy Jiggy a lot. I do have to say that. A third one. I can't say him because I already did that last time. And I can't say him either because I already did that last time as well. So I'll just say Pixel Meows. Great DJ. Really like them.
All right. Well, my 3 picks will be definitely from this year's 4Seasons lineup. Just because I want to stay on topic and don't take too long. The 3 people I'm most excited about this year is our American guests, because I have seen you guys perform in VRChat multiple times, and I cannot wait to see you IRL and what you bring to the table. And these people will be Carousel, Modelon, and Rob Roman's voice.
Bob Bowman.
So that's it. Those are your 3. That's what you're looking for.
That's my 3 picks.
That's
yes.
so wholesome. It's not even just a rapid fire, but you're so wholesome about it. It's so great. Of course, before
I do have to agree that I really want to see you guys as well at 4Seasons. I just
Yeah.
wanted to pick some other people because those 2 are talking about 4Seasons anyway.
yeah, it's an important show. Everyone should be buying their tickets now. That's kind of how it is.
Yeah, you should. Go to 4Seasons.dance and get yourself a ticket right now.
Perfect. And of course, before we get on out of here, where can we find those tickets besides 4Seasons.dance?
Well, that is mainly where you get them. But if you need more information about anything, you should definitely join the Discord. there you can talk with us about things. If you have questions, you can always ask them there. And also, that's where you will be able to access the volunteer sheet. So come join us on our Discord and vibe with us. Let's vibe. Heck yeah.
Guys, despite the brief distraction of the internet on my end, it was a real pleasure to have you here, and I'm very excited for this show that's coming up at the end of August, and I'm more excited to have even more people show up for this event so we can pack this venue, no doubt.
Heck yeah.
Let's show these normies how VR chatters rave.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll put a
I
second
think
floor
it's
up there, yeah.
I think it's a pretty good time to quote a specific bunny here called Rue. Go see your local DJs and realize they suck. Come to VRChat and see great DJs. And this time, those great DJs are going to be local in the Netherlands.
I can't believe
yeah.
that there's an actual shirt that is being sold
I know,
or given
right?
around that has that logo on it, or
We're not
that
talking
picture.
about shirts that VRChat has made. We don't talk about that. Leave the topic for other time.
Oh man.
But great to have you guys here on VRCDJ Live, and of course we're gonna want to have you on even next year when you guys are having next year's show, no doubt.
Thank you very much for having us. It was a pleasure.
Awesome, man. So, guys, that'll be it for VRC DJ Live, and I'm really glad that everybody was here to chime in and get another behind-the-scenes scoop at all the different things that are coming up down the line here in VRChat and within our community. And, of course, we're going to have the highlights and replay for you coming up this weekend up on YouTube at the same at VRC DJ Live. Of course, be on the lookout because we've got oh, man. I can't even begin to tell you the lineup that we've got coming up for July, and it is simmering.
Oh.
It is simmering.
I already heard some, and it's
yeah,
it's good.
I
It's
can't even
good.
begin to tell you guys all the different things that we have cooking coming on down the line. So make sure that you're following us up on X and Blue Sky at VRC DJ Live. We also have the link tree, so we're up on Instagram as well. So if you want to follow up on all the different fun things, IRL to VR experiences, and we're going to be diving into world design and world and venue design and stuff up on the Instagram. That's going to be one heck of a thing for you. Before we get on out of here, a little bit of housekeeping for you. We do have one more guest for this month, and it's a very, very special guest. So make sure that you're tuning in at 9 p.m. Eastern next Thursday, as we're going to be joined with the program director of C89.5 out in Seattle, Washington. A very, 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 very popular EDM dance radio station that has been around since the 70s, that operates out of a high school. And not only that, but some really fun attention how that radio station has immediate connections with record labels and how we can continue to bridge the gap between all of the fun things that we do here in VRChat, comparable to the DJs and producers that want to take the next step forward into their career by getting the attention of record labels. So please come on by. That's going to be happening this Thursday at 9 p.m. Harmony Soleil, the PD of C89.5. We have more information for you up on our Blue Sky and X as well, to go check out the website and all that other fun stuff. So, on top of that too, yeah, lots of different things happening down the line as far as the events calendar is concerned. And I'm just kind of briskly talking about the events calendar because obviously it's going to be happening before you know it. Of course, gatherings happening this weekend, following up with the Project Community Fest that's happening within like 7 days or so, as well as VCAT kind of ticking over July. So lots of different things to talk about as we are rolling our way through. So for Arcana and Tattoo Tracks and Kex of 4Seasons, as well as the staff of VRC DJ Live, I'm Rob Roman. Thank you all for your attention, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.